Hello, benevolent beings. Those are the only beings that I'm speaking to. It's been a little while since I've done a recording. Things have been, pick your, I'll just say things have been pretty bad. They've been pretty horrific. And I'm doing my best to deal with those things that are being forced. In this recording, I'm going to say things that if you've listened to my channel for any length of time that you've probably heard before. There may be a couple things that are new, but for the most part, I believe that I've stated most of this before in different recordings. Due to what is being forced on this planet, and for the length of time that it has been, those things have been being forced. I have, especially with certain experiences, I have come to the conclusion that this universe is compromised. To some degree, especially this quadrant of the universe. I can't speak for the entire universe, but I would say because of what is being forced here and for the length of time it has been being forced, and the lack of true benevolent intervention, and with the lack of correction, with the forced obstruction and regression of universal laws and universal law correction here, and the fact that there are dead parasitic entities running amok with that kind of technology, that all of that with what's been being forced on me for many years, that is the conclusion that I have come to. In addition to that, I think that there has been fuckery, massive fuckery with, or I should say, regarding higher dimensions. Now, maybe not all dimensions, but some of them. I think that is also is a lot of the reasons that they, for what they do here. So the things that they have forced here is most especially with regards to cloning and the trauma-based mind control, the technology, all of that together. Over time, the feeling becomes stronger that there has been fuckery with higher dimensions, and because of the operations that they have going on here, I can see the reasons why they are doing what they're doing. There are many reasons why they do what they do. They are insane. These are animated, dead parasitic entities using technology to try and acquire or attain benevolent life force energy, and they have been using the cloning in large part to do that. They've been doing it a long time on this planet. I'm sorry, I'm trying to correct my flow. As always, or I should say, up to this point, there is usually forced interference when I do recordings. So I'm doing my best to try and work with that. What I can see in it, this may be more of, this is more of a feeling, more of an intuitive interpretation or perception, that they use the cloning to siphon. And they have been doing this for a very long time on this planet, and they are doing this to beings. They are raping benevolent life force energy, consciousness. I'll just say, I don't like to be specific, but they are raping many things from benevolent beings via clone and technology in order to try and sustain their stay. Not just here, but I have a very strong feeling that it is also in higher dimensions. Because of what has been forced on me for many years, to the degree that those things have been being forced, along with, or I should say, and knowing my own level of spiritual growth and attainment and progress, and the fact that there has not been true benevolent intervention here. There should have been a long time ago. But because there hasn't, that has brought up many other questions, some very ugly questions, and the realization of some very ugly truths. This universe, there should have, as I have said, that there should have been true correction long ago. There cannot be parasitic entities in a manifested creation with alive, vibrating beings. It is a contradiction on its face. Because that is going on. It brings to light much larger questions that must be asked and looked at. I think that this universe, to some degree, is compromised and corrupt. I think that there are many very old entities that became corrupt and compromised long ago. And I think that with technology, they found a way to try and sustain their stay and have been doing that and using the technology in that way, in a very abusive way, and in an abhorrent way. And because it seems that there are many of them, I think they all, to some degree, work together. Kind of like a hive. They may not all get along, but I think to some degree they work together to try and maintain their stay. Because of the lengths that they go to obstruct universal law correction with the use of technology. And I think that they have been siphoning off benevolent beings to, and I'll use the word try, but to try and gain access to higher dimensions, and to try and maintain or sustain their stay in possibly higher dimensions that they might have hijacked. And I'm trying to word it that way for certain reasons. So my apologies if that kind of wording irritates you. I do not like to say things in a way that would assist in any kind of manifestation on their side. So I try and word things in a specific way to avoid that. But I think that there has been fuckery in higher dimensions to some degree, and that they are using technology and cloning to siphon off benevolent beings. I think humanity could have evolved, should have evolved long ago. I think that they have been forcibly regressing humanity's progress. I think humanity does make progress and makes quite a bit of it, considering they've been doing the Groundhog Day here for a very long time. And I think subconsciously many have been forcibly regressed, and I think that on some level that they remember, that they know, and that they could easily make that progress back and advance themselves quickly. And I don't think it would be that tough or that much of a reach to actually evolve into a higher dimension. I don't think it would take that long, and I don't think it would be that hard, because of how much forced regression there has been. And that if the impediments and malevolence and technological obstructions were removed, I don't think it would take long at all before, now I'm not saying all of humanity, but before some of humanity evolved into a higher frequency and vibration. And that that in large part has been what that they have been trying to obstruct and prevent. And I think that they are in massive fear, because on some level many of us do remember. Now whether we can articulate it is something else, but I think many have been forcibly regressed. And so regression means that, you know, that they've already done it, right? That there's growth that they've already accomplished. There are things that they've already done. There are milestones and markers that have already been reached. And then, you know, the malevolence comes along and tries to regress. But the thing is we've already done it. So you know, they try to continually forcibly regress, but they've been doing that a lot. And in every civilization. Like at some point, it seems to me that the regressions would stop having an effect. For some beings. And I think that they are in massive fear. And some of us have been here long enough to where we see through the bullshit. We see what the fuck is going on. We see what they've been doing and how they've been doing it. And for how long they've been doing it. Some of us are very fed up with the fucking bullshit. We're fed up with this fucking place, this parasitic farm. This shit isn't right. It's not. It's the shit going on here and being forced here is just so wrong. So fucking wrong. And some of us, on some level, know it, and we're fucking done with it. And we're trying to, we know that they're doing wrong and that they're fucking up and the shit isn't right. We know what the right thing is, or the right things are, the right way of things is. And we continue to fight and to strive for those things and for that way of existence. I think for me personally, a lot of the issue is how corrupt is the universe itself, right? There's always been the two questions. Is there an entity or some kind of an awareness or intelligence or, consciousness that runs and operates this universe? Or is it just an empty place in where beings emerge into? And then it's kind of just up to the benevolent beings to make sure that universal laws are enforced. Unfortunately, technology is being used to interfere or hijack universal laws. That shouldn't be going on. That shouldn't be occurring. But because it is, then it brings into question those other things. So, is there or isn't there? At this point, their correction has been obstructed up to this point. So, whether it's an entity that's corrupt and compromised and psychotic and parasitic, or it's just a place in where beings emerge and there really isn't any kind of governing force. Either way, shit's fucked. Right? So one has to operate or move forward from that point, from that juncture. So that's what I've been trying to do. And personally, I'm fucking done with this place. It's a parasitic farm, and they're animated dead entities. I gotta try and find a way out. That shit shouldn't be going on. They're obstructing correction. They're torturing, raping, and murdering. Or I will rephrase that they have been using the technology to try and harm benevolent beings. So, and especially if there is truth to higher dimensions being hijacked, then there are other questions that come with that need to be asked and need to be looked at. And those answers are very ugly. So it then becomes, what does one do? Right? How does one proceed forward? What does one do? While the whole entire time screaming for help, for true benevolent assistance and intervention here. There's still the question, what does one do? So, personally, I continue to fight. It should be humanity in those higher dimensions. Not animated, dead, parasitic entities. It brings into question the universe itself. the very nature of existence. And one has to look at the logic and the reason of things. What I'm getting at is an analogy would be you can only run an engine backwards for so long before it fucking implodes. There must be correction, or it's all gonna go. You can't have this degree and magnitude of fuckery, corruption, imbalance, you know, in a huge universe. On a planet, in a huge universe, that's only going to be able to go on for only so long. Because the balance is gone, and there's not enough benevolent energy, frequency, vibration holding it up to keep it from imploding, to keep it from collapsing. And these dead entities are just so insane that they're incapable of seeing that or being aware of that. Because they shouldn't be here to begin with. So, at some point, something's going to give. Now, to what degree is another question, right? Just this planet, just this quadrant of the universe, just this star system? Or has the entire universe been operating in this fashion for such a long time that it's going to be the entire universe that goes? Now, there are some that are not quite able to fathom a universe implosion, and or I would say a better now others could probably fathom like a planet imploding and or a star system imploding, becoming so out of balance and dark that shit just starts to go awry. Like a domino effect. And then other things start to happen, and then other things start to happen from there, and then it just kind of, tends to build up to a climactic event. And I'm sure that there are scientists out there that have spoken on these kinds of topics about what would happen if this, happened, or if this were true, what would happen if these variables, were present, on and on and on, right? There are those individuals that I'm sure have, to some degree, contemplated those things. So I don't think, some of the things that I'm talking about are that far, so far out of that sphere, that they aren't part of the conversation. So, again, I'll say that personally, I think everybody should be screaming to get the fuck out of here. I think this shit is toast. I think it's done. It's been a parasitic farm for a long time. The balance is gone. And from what I'm seeing, most definitely in this star system, possibly in this galaxy. So it's time to get the fuck out. And, they're still trying to obstruct universal law correction. Shit's gonna fucking implode. It is. On some level, the shit's gonna implode. So I'm doing my best to try and find a way to get myself out of here. And I still have to take back what's been raped from me daily, because they keep trying to rape it. The existence shouldn't be like this. Again, there shouldn't be animated dead parasites running amok with technology, obstructing universal laws. That shouldn't be occurring. That shouldn't be going on. So, I don't know where all of you are at, but, hopefully you're screaming to whoever it is you got to scream to get the fuck out, for assistance. And, hopefully you're receiving some, hopefully without strings attached, or some kind of underlying agenda coming from those that you think are assisting you. An implosion of a planet, of a star system, of a universe, is only going to take with it, implode and or destroy those things that are corrupt, that are out of balance, that are dark, that don't have light, that are malevolent. And it's gonna you know, an implosion is going to spit everything else out as far as benevolent life force energy, life, frequencies of that are high, like love, compassion, empathy. It's not going to take those with it because there's vibration there. It takes the dead. The imbalance, the wrong, the malevolence. So, I think my intent in this recording was just to make light of the possibility that there's, you know, there's been fuckery with higher dimensions, and to be able to look at their operations that they've got going on here, and to see the connections and our correlations with the possible hijacking of higher dimensions, see how they've been running their shit, siphoning off of benevolent beings in order to try and sustain any kind of presence in those higher dimensions that might have been hijacked. And are the reasons why they have been forcibly regressing humanity in every prior civilization, and why that they have been doing the dog and pony show, right? They'll give you a little bit of the truth, or they'll mix a lot of they'll do a little bit of truth and a lot of lies to try and continue to throw beings off the true evolution trajectory. You know, they have their mouthpieces come forward. All of those groups that claim to be benevolent, that claim to be helping humanity, that's, you know, channel their word vomit bullshit to the masses. Oh, all you gotta do is do this, or all you gotta do is do that, or, you know, there's a lot of blame that goes on. A lot of blaming humanity for not being able to do this or do that, or when the whole entire time they're using technology to obstruct the very universal laws and universal law correction that would fucking remove them as is needed. Because they're the problem, they're the obstruction. They are the disease. They are the imbalance. They're the ones that are the problem, not humanity. They shouldn't even fucking be here. It's abhorrent that these things have not been corrected by a larger benevolent force. if you were to think on higher dimensions being hijacked, that would certainly affect, on some level, larger benevolent force intervening and assisting here. I'm sure if you were to contemplate that, you could see the implications that go along with that, and the issues and the problems that are attached to that with regards to a true benevolent force if higher dimensions have been hijacked and fucked with and interfered with. Just a moment. Okay, sorry about the delay there. I had to put on my jacket because it's cold where I'm sitting. So, trying to kind of come back to the point, I don't know how much of that is really helpful for other benevolent beings, other than possibly providing more understanding. I don't even want to detail the things that have been being forced on me. It is to, like, at this point, you know, what's being forced shouldn't be being forced. It's so abhorrent and sickening. It's just so vile what's being forced here, especially considering the stage of spiritual growth that I am at and have been for quite some time. And the lengths that these dead entities are trying to go to obstruct evolution, to try and obstruct evolution, to try and harm to try and obstruct universal law correction. Like, at this point, it is so ridiculous. It is just absolutely so outrageous and so ridiculous that one would think that at this point, there would be true benevolent intervention here. So I'm doing my best to try and extract myself from this place, at the very least from this place, and possibly the universe itself. Personally, I'm seeing impending implosion. Now, on what scale, on what magnitude is another question. But I am seeing and feeling impending implosion. So personally for me, that's where I'm at, and I'm doing my best to try and find a way to extract myself from this horrificness and get myself out of here. I can see this shit is toast, that it's fucking corrupt, that most what some people would call celestial bodies or other celestial beings are not beings, they're entities, and they're all fucking corrupt. They're all complicit. They're all in on it. They all made backroom deals, right? They've all been doing the dirty in the raping from humanity. In using humanity as a smorgasbord. As an all-you-can-eat buffet. So many of those entities, number one, they're already dead, which means they fucked up long time ago. Long time ago. And they've been raping from humanity and participating in harming humanity and regressing humanity, right? Like, I mean, they're in some fashion or some form or another, these supposed celestial bodies or entities or whatever are complicit and corrupt. So, there was a point where I asked Sun to assist here. And his response to me was, if I help one, I must help them all. So, that supposed celestial being, that was his response to me in asking him to assist here. That's fucking ridiculous. And I had obviously not expected that kind of a response from a being that I had thought up to that point benevolent. So, seeing where that's at, here's another little thing. Now, I know that they use sun simulators. That these groups on the planet or the reptilians, whoever it is, that puts those sun simulators in the skies, in the stratosphere, atmosphere, whatever. Why would they need to do that? Now, there could be a couple reasons to that, but personally, I think, especially knowing or based on Sun's response to me, personally, I think he's dying. I think he's in total betrayal of himself. I think he's complicit and corrupt in the raping and the harming of humanity for many civilizations. I think he's in betrayal of himself, and I think he's dying. Now, some would probably say he's dying anyway, but however, I think he's dying for other reasons. That could be one possible reason they have to use sun simulators, or, it's for something altogether different. But that could be one possible reason why that they're using those. But I'm just hoping that the benevolent beings that might be listening to these recordings, hopefully you're doing your best to get yourselves out of here and to recognize that it's corrupt, and take off the glasses, right? Now, if the malevolence could be removed, ended, then with universal laws, there could be a chance of rebuilding, saving what's left of this place. But if that doesn't happen, then you have to make sure that you're in a place where you're doing your best to prepare your own beings, your own soul, to get the fuck out of here. In whatever way that you can manage. And the more of us that know the truth of things, is going to go a long way in the presence of universal laws. So it is imperative that you still maintain your refusal of consent in what is being forced on this planet, and as well as what might be being forced on you personally. Be refusing consent? And be taking back what you feel has been raped from you. Back from all malevolence, technologies, clones, magic. Planetary parasites. And try to see what you can do about preparing your own being for trying to get out of here, trying to leave this place with the totality of your being, fully intact, unharmed, and unhindered. And unmolested. So I apologize for the delay there. So that's where, for me personally, that's the place that I'm working from now. And they still continue to try and harm me. They still continue to try and rape me. So I'm doing the best that I can, trying to do the best that I can with things. And be really pulling on the truth for myself personally as well as for others. Okay, so I want to keep you. They're trying to force me to fall asleep. They try to use that tactic often. So hopefully you all are doing the best that you can. I'm sure that you are. Taking back things that have been raped from you. Contemplating and trying to come to solutions. With regards to what's being forced here. And how you're going to move forward with those things. And again, I think everybody should be, at this point, everybody should be, all benevolent beings should be screaming to get the fuck out of here. Just a moment, I'm trying to quickly think if there was anything else. Once again, your astral body is your protection. So hopefully you have been working with it, doing your best to try and strengthen the connection of your astral body to your physical body, and taking back what you feel has been raped from you, back from all technology, clones, dead parasitic entities, any part of the AI system, which includes astral realms, artificial realities, and the artificial frequency fence that surrounds this place. And let me see. Just know that your astral body, your astral body is yours. And I have to word it like this due to the malevolence, provided you didn't rape the astral body that you have. And doing your best to strengthen it, to always feel it as a protective shield around you, to know that you can work with your own energy, that you can manipulate your own energy. In a multitude of ways. And always be pulling back your astral body upon waking and before you go to sleep. Pulling back your astral body out of all technologies, out of all clone, and this goes with along with pulling back your true, authentic, organic frequencies, vibrations, bodies, lights, sounds, energies, and resonances, out of all clones, technologies, parasites, and pulling it back to you. And just working on strengthening it. It is your protection in your shield, in your force field. And it's usually only a few inches from your physical body. And to really try to imagine and feel your own astral body around you at all times. And to see it as a continuous moving thing, a continuously vibrating, body that's attached to you and that you can manipulate and work with anytime that you want. And that no other entity or being is going to be allowed to be connected to your astral body. Provided you didn't rape it, your astral body is yours. It belongs to you. It's part of your being. It houses many inherent parts of your being. So there shouldn't be dead parasitic entities fucking attached to you, trying to use you as an all-you-can-eat buffet. And there shouldn't be entities trying to rape you of your stuff. To be vocally stating those clear boundaries, to the universe itself, to the planetary parasite, to any and all entities that you do not consent to what is being forced here. And especially if there's anything being forced on you personally, to be refusing consent for that. And doing your best to release. One of the best things that one can be doing, especially if you haven't built up your skill yet with your abilities, is to be releasing all forced malevolence in any form, all forced parasitic, demonic, insane, devolving abomination entities and frequencies from the totality of your being, devoid of all harm to you and devoid of anything raped from you. And be releasing those entities and nasty frequencies from the totality of your being with every cell, fiber, and molecule of your being. And actually try and envision releasing those entities and, envisioning them releasing from your organic frequencies, from your being, and just, maybe one perspective or one way is to imagine them, being disconnected from you and floating off away from you until you just can't see them anymore, or being sucked off of you by a black hole. However it is, you gotta imagine and envision those entities and frequencies being removed from you, devoid of all harm to you, and they don't take anything that they've raped from you with them. So to make it clear, and really do your best to try and always feel your astral body energy around you, connected to your chakra system. Be feeling it around you, especially around your head, in your crown chakra, in your energetic fields. Be really feeling your astral body protective shield around you. And know that you can release those entities. If you've said no, if you've refused consent, they gotta go. Period. There's no discussion. It's not a debate. If you've refused consent, they leave. And then you proceed to make them leave. However it is, you got to make them leave. Whether you're disconnecting them or ending them in whatever fashion you deem appropriate. Along with all clones, right? All clones, the clone surrogates that they use, all clones have to be dissolved, devoid of anything raped from you. So basically, you're removing any kind of tool or thing or entity, whatever it is that they're using to force connection to your being. Devoid of all harm to you. So, all right. I think those were the things that I wanted to make light of and talk about. It took me a little bit to adjust my flow. They are still trying to interfere, and right now they're trying to make me extremely tired. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this recording up and try and get someplace a bit warmer. I'm sure all of you are doing the best that you can. Okay, so take care of you and those you love. Know that you are a strong being. And that as a benevolent, true benevolent being, you hold great power, great strength, great wisdom. And that you are able to do what's needed to keep your own being safe, and that you are in the right. And to have patience with yourself and know that you are doing the best that you can, and that you have love for your own being as well as for other true benevolent beings. All right. Do your best to stay strong. And until next time.